So I'm taking a walk, and as I am, I decide to sit down on a bench, and this little guy comes and hangs out with me, which is really lovely, even though it's a stray cat. Hold on, you're not allowed to go for my glasses. So I want to tell you about something that happened yesterday. Yesterday I sat down with some family members who I love very much, and we disagreed about, we were talking about Israel, we were talking about America, talking about the world, and we disagreed. And within, I think, around 3 or 4 minutes, one of the people that I was speaking to just said, look, let's not talk about it. I don't want to have this conversation. And I was like, why? And because it's family. I just don't want to talk about it. Because we're not going to agree. And that really pissed me off. And I'll tell you why. And I shared this with my family. So, I'm not saying anything bad about anyone, because everyone's entitled to their opinion and everything. But I feel that, if you don't agree because you are really, really, really divided, or one person supports someone or policies that are, Hitler-esque or, very, very, very radical. And you're sitting opposite the table from someone like that who's pro-hatred, pro-intolerance, anything that is really kind of like despicable in our society, then okay, all bets off the table, then we don't have to talk, then let's not talk. But if you're sitting down and you just can't have a civil conversation, and someone shuts you down, even within family, and this is why this is not about my family, it's about society as a whole, I just think that that's so tragic. And I think that there are people on all sides of the political aisle, and I'm not just talking about America, I mean America and England and Israel and Canada and Africa and anywhere where you are shut down by someone else because they're afraid of going there with you in terms of a civil conversation, even if they don't agree with something that you've said. I think that that's where we all are in the world today. And I don't think that the solution are our leaders. I don't think so. I think the solution is on us. And until we start to open up the door to the other side and listen and not slam the door in their face. Because to me, when you have radicals on the right in any country who just say, yeah, you're an idiot, then they're the idiot. Because it's not a way, And if you have someone on the far left in any country that says, no, we're not going to agree, I'd rather not have the conversation because it's uncomfortable. These are people in your immediate circle, whether it's family or close friends, then to me that's a shame. To me that's a real shame, because that makes you intolerant. That makes you close-minded. That makes you unable to debate and build bridges. So I'm happy to say that in the end, after that initial hiccup, it was a very heated conversation. But in that conversation, I agreed with many things that, my couple of members of my family were saying. And I think that they probably saw the sense in what I was saying, and we had disagreed on some things. But we ended up talking for an hour and a half and arguing. But I have no animosity. I have no intolerance for talking to people. And I think that we've become so intolerant that the supposed left-wing progressives and liberals are just as intolerant in many cases as the people whose opinions they vehemently disagree with. And the same vice versa. Solutions are not going to come from Trump. They're not going to come from Kamala. They're not going to come from Bibi. They're not going to come from Bennett. They're not going to come from anyone else except for you. And that means being a little bit more tolerant and agreeing to disagree and picking up the conversation another time maybe and trying to build bridges. But this slamming of the door in other people's faces, it's, and I keep hearing about this from people that write to me. They're like, I'm not speaking to my uncle, or I'm not speaking to my cousin, or I'm not speaking to my father. You know, that people are being torn apart because they can't talk to each other, because they're so polarized. And you know who wins in the end in those situations? The people who are winning are those societies or cultures that are being led by leaders who are looking to divide people in the West who adhere to Western ideas. And they're countries like Iran, and they're countries like China, and they're countries like Russia, where they are quietly destroying the fabric of Western values, because one of the most important Western values, I think, is debate, conversation. Not with people who are filled with hatred. You know, in those cases, I don't engage. But with someone that I disagree with, or someone that I, you know, care about, but, you know, and I care about their opinion, I do want to go there. I do. That's one of the reasons why I've been liking Chris Cuomo and watching him. And yes, he's interviewed me a couple of times, and I really respect him. I'm not talking about his politics. I'm just talking about the approach, which is to engage. That's what we need more of, not less of. And until us with our friends and with our families and with maybe our colleagues engage in respectful debate, even though it might get a little bit heated sometimes, until we start unpolarizing ourselves there, we're fucked. And I'm telling you something that's deeply personal to me, because this is with family, and I love my family, and everything's good, you know. Like I said, we have a spirited debate, but the door was pretty much slammed in my face, and I think that is something that shouldn't happen. So I would just say that it's on us to keep reaching out and to keep trying to build bridges, even when we disagree, so long as someone is not filled with hatred and intolerance. And there's, as we say in Hebrew, "Ein im ledaber." It means like there is no one to speak to. There's no one home. You know, unless it's one of those situations, then if someone tries to shut you up because you might have a difference of opinion, I'd say push back. Because you never know, that you might find that the disagreements that you have are much smaller than all the things that you do agree upon. We have to get back to being able to talk to each other. Anyway, I don't know, I was thinking about that, and this cat came along and made me feel like I could say that. But anyway, I'm going to keep playing with this cat, and yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Bye, guys.